All right, hey y'all, it's Pizza Hut. I'm here in Call of the Wild today. Uh, Currently in Quattro Colinas. I thought it might be helpful for this video. So I want to talk today about zones and help some possible beginners out. I feel like I get a decent amount of people who, you guys are like, dude, you're all over the place, man. What kind of videos do you make? Well, currently, I don't know. I'm figuring it out, but these are definitely videos I want to continue to make. I love Call of the Wild, so I feel like even during my broadcast, I get a fair amount of what's this game? Do you like it? What's it about? And all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to go over. We're going to have a little class on zones. Zones are a very important part of Call of the Wild. Now you can just kind of wander around and shoot things if you'd like. Believe me, there are plenty of animals around that you can pretty much just sometimes have a peek somewhere and bump into something. There we go, there's something right there. Level 2 roe deer. Class is 3. Got a buddy or two behind him. Let's see. Couple females, maybe. What's this one behind? Yeah, another female. And there you go. Just take a look through the binoculars. I mean, you're on giant hunting reserves, generally speaking. There's gonna be animals. So that's not really the big deal. The big deal about zone hunting is it's going to allow you to create hunts. It's going to allow you to be able to fashion your playthrough and seek out the kind of animals that you want to and create, you know, in the areas and in the situations that you want. So maybe you want to hunt whitetail in an open field with a ring of trees around it, and you want to be all sneaky up hidden in a ring of trees, and you want to take a nice rifle shot from the trees. Or maybe you want to get a caller and call them in right below you and use the bow or a pistol or something like that. Maybe you want to do the traditional Call of the Wild setup and get those water zones found as soon as possible and just hunt drink zones, because it's pretty friggin' great and pretty easy. It's really up to you. So what's a zone? Alright, well, you see these little dots all over the place here? We're going to see 3 different types. Now, first of all, we've got drink zones. We've got our little water droplet, it's blue, and the other 2 are yellow. Why they picked the same color for both, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. We know this blue dot is always going to be water. So what does that mean? That means that right here, between the hours of 3 and 6, doesn't mean at 3:01 they're there, and it doesn't mean at 6:01 that they're gone. Okay, they are dynamic. They move in, they move out, they wander around, they drink over here, they walk over here and drink. Sometimes they lay down. You know, they have a life. But between those hours, you're going to be able to find them there, and they do have certain positions. I'll show you some eventually. These little white, little fluffy things on the ground. And it's kind of a generalized area of where you're going to find them. So somewhere up in these hills, the wolves aren't actually out here. Well, okay, they might be out here. Really? We've got fields and woods, so we're talking like some weird sound distortion. And I'm not convinced it's not like an ambient kind of thing. Sorry, I got distracted. Wolves. But anyway. And then right here, we've got what is a feed zone. So that little hash mark right there, I guess it's kind of like a piece of grass or wheat. That lets me know that that's where they're eating, right? And that's roe deer. Now the nice thing about these zones, they let you know what's around, right? So here's a roe deer drink zone. So the roe deer are eating here, and then they walk down here to drink. I would, upon finding this roe deer feed zone, start immediately looking around the area. So I would start looking for the little Z, right, which here is a rest zone. And that covers all three of our types of zones, right? Drinking, eating, sleeping. So in these areas, I look for more feed zones. Sometimes they run in a line. You can see this little design here. This light little area is probably a field. This is a field. So you always want to look for animals that, you know, eat grains out in the field. But our wolves, of course, wouldn't be out there. So let's say deer or whatever. We got our roe deer. They might have another feed zone right here in this field, and they might have a rest zone back here, and their drink zones are through here. So if I find a feed zone near water for roe deer, if I can figure out when roe deer drink by either looking it up on the interwebs, watching a video on YouTube's like, I don't know, this one, and get that they're from 14 to 1700 hours, then I can come back here during that time and run this shoreline looking for roe deer. Same thing with the rest zones, and same thing with the drink zones. If I find a roe deer drink zone, I'm going to look further back for feed zones and rest zones. Now, the amount of animals that depends on the RNG, the random number generator, what's going to happen, we don't know, but it could be one wild boar sitting here between midnight and 3 in the morning, or there could be a whole little, you know, pack. What do you call a pack of pigs? Pick a pack of pickled pigs. And the best way to do any new map, and so I picked this map, Quadroclinis, because it's one of my favorite maps. I've used it a lot, but I really haven't visited it since the reset. So there's not a ton of zones on here. And what I always recommend do to a new player or a beginner, you know, and I'm talking to beginners, not necessarily day one players, but beginners, right? And you want to, whatever maps you've chosen, I recommend Quadroclinis or Tiawara for the best maps for a true start. End Call of the Wild, forget Leighton Lakes and Hirschfeld and all that stuff. Either go to Tiawara or go to Quadroclinis. And do the story, finish the story, do some side missions, and what will end up happening is as you're running around, you're going to spot some things, you're going to run over some zones, right? And whenever you do, try to pick them up whenever you can, so you can know where to hunt these animals, right? So I know where the rabbits are, I know where these ibex are, where the red deer are, but I also know that if I come back down here between the hours of 6 and 10, I could possibly find more red deer and more red deer zones. Come back between 10 and 2, I could see possibly some more ibex to find. And that will also let me know to look for ibex and red deer zones feeding and resting around this lake. Let's pick a species. I think I'm going to go with roe deer. Oops. And I'm betting they're more over on this side. There we go. Yeah. So 2 to 5. I've got a bunch of hunting stands and stuff left over from when I used to have my red deer grind on here. But I'm going to pop over there, change the time, and we're going to start looking for roe deer. So basically, when you're running across your map, doing all your story missions and your side missions and running around, you're going to find areas. What I really recommend is actually this. Do the story mission on a new map. Finish out the story. Once the story is done, go to all the observation posts, open that up. Once you get all the observation posts, go to all the uh, whatever fast travel housing. I'm probably using the wrong wordage there, because I think they call these outposts, right? Yeah. What are these called? Nope. I mean, I had to use them to. There we go. Yoink. And lookout. So go to all your lookout points. When you go to your lookout points, again, for beginners, you've probably already done this. You've opened up the map. Get them all so you can basically completely open up all your map. Not everything is going to be out of the dark, but most of it is. This big giant circle, right? Once you get that done, go around and find all your outposts so you can fast travel around the map and get to these different areas that you want to hunt. I swear to God. There we go. Outpost. Which is right here, place where I can sleep. And also there's a gun and ammo locker, Roshar. They vary in the way they look on different maps, but they're in different countries and different places, so obviously they would probably look a little different. And if you want to really watch the development of this game, look at a cabin on Leighton Lakes, and look at a cabin in, I don't know, anywhere else. They can literally see them glow up. All right. So I believe it was 1,300 years, 1,400. Now, what I would recommend, if you are close to the body of water, so that means that between 1,400 and 1,430, it's going to be either or when your rodeo drinks are going to start. I'm going to make it 15:30. 3. An hour into the drink zone. The reason I want to do that is because what they did was they changed one goofy mechanic where I could have changed it to 14:31 and boom, all the animals are in their zone, just standing around, goofing around on the shore. Now what they've done is made another goofy mechanic instead, where the animals have to wander around and walk in, and sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not, to make it more natural. It's all goofy. I think it's all goofy. All right. I'm very close to the shore, and unfortunately when you have to deal with some render distance problems, there's two ways to fix it. You can either go back in here and I can pay to advance the time 1 minute, and that should make sure all the deer are down there. Or you can set a marker and run like a fool until it says about 300 plus yards. Somewhere between, let's say, around 320. I mean, I think it's more around 300, but somewhere around 320, you know, just to make sure you can go back. And if the animals weren't rendered in, they should be there now. So if you don't want to pay for it and you don't have the money, especially if you're a beginner, to keep advancing the time like that to fix a stupid glitch, just run away and come back. A lot of the outposts are right there on the water. Now here's a good example of a zone. So this is a rest zone, and you can see we've got this kind of looks like a plant that's been squished, right? Like an animal laid down here and had a nap. So that's our rest zone. So when I click on this, I don't think I have this rest zone, so it should make a little bell, and it's going to tell me what sleeps here. Wolves. Now this number says 1, okay? Never rely on that number, okay? Especially on a new map, because as you fill out the map, more animals are going to show up, and you're going to have possibly 5 here or 3. It just depends. Just because you find a zone with one single moose in it doesn't mean that's what you're going to find later. So that's what a zone looks like. You saw how it was white and now it's turned blue because I clicked on it. If I click on something else that's not a wolf, it'll go back to the little white fluffies is what I call them. So that's what a rest zone looks like. Here's another one of the markers. So you could expect to find a wolves kind of hanging around these markers. They might lay down on them. They might lay down beside them. They might be wandering around in here. But the nice thing is I just picked that up wandering around, and what's good is that, let's see, this is 10 to 1400, right? It is 15:45, so we're an hour and 45 minutes past the zone time, right? And yet it still shows up. The wolves leave, but the marker doesn't. And somewhere between like 2 to 4 hours after the animal's zone time is over and they walk away, you can still see the marks on the ground. So if you run up to those marks and click on them, you can still get the zone. And that'll let you know where the wolves are. Now, another important thing to know, and now I know that wolves rest here, right? So guess where I can probably expect to find some wolf drink zones and some wolf feed zones. Right, we've got plenty of water they can wander around to. This is basically, you're kind of looking at a wolf range. So you can probably expect 1 to 2, maybe even 3 groups of wolves, depending on how they wander around the map, to be in this general area. Now, I'm going to try to explain how zones affect your animals and your maps. And the best way that I possibly can, and that's just the best way that I understand it. I feel like if you ask someone at EW how to explain zones, they're going to ask you how comfortable you are, would you like a drink, and do you have some time? Because it doesn't, I don't know. So, you hop on your map, the zones are there, right? We know they're invisible until you find them, right? Until you either spot an animal on the zone, or you just walk over it and click it. So we're going to go down here and see if I can actually spot some roe deer and get some zones and show you what that's about. But again, you know, you've probably already seen it. But all I really need to do is look through these glasses at a roe deer having a drink on the water during its drink time, and it'll go bing, and that zone will show up on my map. Now, if I'm going to explain this correctly, I think this is how to do it. So I found that roe deer, right? Let's say I found a roe deer. The zone shows up on my map. Now, and there's 3 roe deer in the group. Essentially, if I understand it right, their zones are now available on the map for me to find. What other zones? Well, feed and rest zones. Now, the more zones you find, the more animals you have on your map. You're like, wait, what? Believe me, when you first start a map, even some of the busier ones like Silver Ridge or New England seems to be pretty populated, you're going to still be like, man, why do I keep finding zones with 1 whitetail? Why do I keep finding a zone with 1 moose? Where are these animals at? As you go along and find more rest zones, more drink zones, more feed zones, as you come back to some of these zones, and as you find, you'll start finding bigger herds too. That's another thing that's kind of weird. I mean, be prepared to find a bunch of dumb little one animal zones at the beginning, and then towards the end you're finding like, wow, here's a whole herd of whitetail. Look, it ain't perfect, folks. I'm just telling you how it goes. So the more zones that you find, the more of that type of animal is going to be on the map, the more zones you're going to find of that type of animal, etc. And then eventually hits a certain number. There are only a certain amount of zones for each animal on every map. Let's answer a quick question. So Pizza, I saw where your zones are on your map. If I go there, I can just get those zones, right? Yes and no. Maps have areas where animals congregate. They have certain places where you're more likely to find them. Tiawara in specific is a good example. Now here we go. So here's a bunch of roe deer. I don't know if I have this zone or not. I do. This is the roe deer zone I already have. That looks like a nice one. Yeah, when they score, I mean, I think 80 something is a diamond. So that guy's close to diamond. Quick look around, see if I can pick up a new zone. That's pushing render distance there. I mean, because there's a roe deer zone down here, there's a good chance I've already looked at this lake, but you got to start somewhere, and I want to show the process. The most fun process. So I was recently watching another YouTuber. I won't name names this time. Usually I drop them. I'm like, hey, I was watching such and such. But they were talking about how, like, you know, basically looking for zones is a boring video. I can't necessarily disagree, but I also think it's important. Because it gives people, you know, we do have a lot of beginning players and new players and people who don't, are casual players even. I didn't get him. No, no way. Alright, well, we can get him run at least. And there's just a lot about, you know, I don't feel like, even the tutorials, even the story mode or whatever, they help you a little bit, but I don't know. I made a lot of videos looking for zones. I've got, you know, some people watch them. But I also get a lot of questions sometimes about this kind of stuff, and I feel like, you know, there's really just, you'll see like 100 videos on how to make a grind, you know, you'll see a bunch of videos on how to, you know, maybe set up your perks or use collars, blah blah blah. I don't think that deer's gonna die, honestly. Here, I'll pop up to my tent and see if anything happens. I'm wondering. I'm pretty sure. Hey, what's going on? Oh no, I'm stuck. It like ported me into the lantern. That's dumb. Anyway, I still don't think he's gonna die. There we go. Pete's gonna crack open a lime seltzer. Here's what I can tell you. If you want animals on your map, you need to go around and find zones. There's a lot of ways to find zones, just like I was showing you there. Figure out a time that you can find them when they drink. Go to areas where you think there might be those animals. We'll have a look in here. Red deer and roe deer kind of like to hang out. But if you find a feed zone, look around. You know, kind of try to figure out a line and look at your map and say, okay, well, it kind of looks like maybe I found one here. Let me go up 100, 200 yards this way, 100, 200 yards this way. You may run into the animal again or the actual zone again. So, not a bad thing to do. Alright, nothing. Run down to these big lakes. This used to be a great place for roe deer. I think I've already checked for roe deer. Let's find something else. What about an ibex? Now you'll see a lot of red deer and roe deer zones, right? The other thing to note about zones is when you start to hunt these guys, right? I could just go around this map and just get all the red deer zones, right? Pick up all the red deer drink zones and try to look for just red deer zones when they're feeding, when they're sleeping, and you will get a disproportionate amount of red deer on your map. So, guess who likes to hunt red deer on this map? If I did this with the southwestern ibex, then I'd have a bunch of southwestern ibex on my map. I'd have more of them than any other species. So you can kind of trick your maps out. There we go, 10 to 1400 hours. Okay. Are we in the south? Pop up here. And I know this is true because in Silver Ridge, before they reset the maps, I did not hunt Rocky Mountain elk hardly ever at all. The reason being that it only had like a half hour to an hour drink zone time. Very difficult and very expensive to hunt. You gotta fast, especially in the early game when you have no cash and no skills and everything. So you gotta like get over there, fast travel, change the time. You literally gotta change the time to like an hour, you know, possibly before the drink time even began, so you get down there so you could be there for the 30 minutes the deer were going to be there. So, but in the end, I had hunted Silver Ridge so much and had so many zones, diverse zones, different types. I hunted everything there that I hardly had any Rocky Mountain elk on my map, or hardly any Rocky Mountain elk zones. So it does actually affect the play. So if you want more red deer, if you want more Rocky Mountain elk, if you want more wolves, anytime you start a new map, go for those zones first. Find out when they eat, drink, and sleep. Go to the drink zones first because they're easiest to find. Work your way out, and then that animal will be the most popular species on your map. Interesting, isn't it? If you want a map full of coyotes, you can make it happen. If you want a map full of rabbits, you can make it happen. Oh, come on. I was going to say, if I get stuck again on a grapevine, I'm going to be pissed. Oh, somebody's making noise. I forgot what I was doing. I needed to change the time to 10 o'clock in the morning. 10:30, 11:30. Yeah. So here's the thing, like I said, was it goofy and kind of easy to have a bunch of animals standing on the shoreline as soon as you got there at, 9:31? Yes. Okay, but taking away an hour of the time to wait for these animals to goof their way up to their zone eventually, and even then, that doesn't always work. I can get down, I can change this time to 11:30. I can get down there by 12. Drink time starts at 10, and there won't be anything there. They're still wandering in. which costs more money, which punishes the beginners of this game. The beginning of this game is the worst. I don't even understand sometimes how they get people to keep playing this game from the start. The starting maps that you're supposed to start with are garbage. The Leighton Lakes and Hirschfelden should not be the starting maps of this game. I get why they are, because originally they were, but other than that, there's really no good reason for them to be starting maps. Leighton Lakes is confusing. Its map doesn't match the terrain. There's water where it says there's land. There's land where it says there's water. And you're not going to have the guns to kill everything on it. You're not going to have the money. You're not going to have the ability to do a bunch of stuff. I mean, even with DLC, you remember you got to buy some of these guns. Even with DLC, you have to pay for. And the ones that you don't pay for, you're paying $800 to $1,000 for 10 bullets. So. Plus your gun wobbles around like this. You can't track anything. Your dog's dumb. It's brutal. It's brutal. Once you hit level 60, you're like, this game is so much fun. But you got to get to level 60. You got to level up your weapons. Your dog, your everything. And they don't really cater their DLC necessarily really well for people who are just starting the game. Now, the species of ibex that I picked doesn't necessarily drink out here, but I'm going to go have a look, and I'm going to run this shoreline. There they, oh, we got some roe deer out here. Oh no, there they are. Found them. I forget how funny these. That one looks a little more decent. What are you back here? There's a 4. For the ibex, they can go diamond at level 4, but 5 is a better chance. But there you go. So I figured out when they drink. I figured about the area of where they're at. You can use a feed zone, a drink zone, another drink zone, or rest zone, or whatever, to sort of give you that indication. And then there you go. Here they are. We walked down here and I found some goats. That 4, of course, is over the hill. There we go. Like, that's not 600 yards. That's ridiculous. They're right down from here. Might hit one and see if I can kill one with this 22-250. Once I'm ranged correctly. He's done. Now, as you can see here, there's some zone markers, right? You see these little fluffy marks? And that's a drink zone. They get these little fluffy things on top of them, and you can see the hoof marks here. Now, this may be a zone that I already have, but I don't think it is. So, like I said, sometimes, you know, several hours after the animal is gone, you can still find the zone. So let's click on it and see what happens. It's ibex. Now, I'm going to guess because of render distance, if I had run 300 yards this way and come back, there'd be a bunch of ibex here. In fact, there probably are ibex here. They're just invisible, although they probably ran while I shot my gun. And a red deer zone too. And that's another good thing to know. You know, a lot of times if you find one drink zone, you might find 6 drink zones. Because it's a video game and there's only so much room for these animals to be in. Seems like a nice pile of red deer. It says 8. And I just want to point out, so I just found that zone, right? And that's after I've gone around finding a bunch of red deer zones. And so I found a bunch of 1s, and then zones with 1, and then a bunch of zones with 2 or 3, and then zones with 5, and now we're getting zones with 8. Yeah, he's dead. I knew he was dead. There's another one. What's up? Billy Goat? You the 4? Nah. Goats are dumb. Have fun with goats. Shoot goats. Run into them. Shoot them. Go after them with pistols, shotguns, air rifles. Goats are some of the most fun animals in this game. In my personal opinion. You want to see the dog work? Go find me the goat, please. Oh, the blood. I was basically standing on it. It says low bleed rate. Oh, 22-250 is not the most beastly of bullets, but I did kind of expect it to go down a little quicker. Now, as we're running across the countryside here, and it's a good reason also to, you know, don't always, it's just like any video game, you know, don't always fast travel. You know, if you want to have some sneaky little adventure in Skyrim, or I don't know, whatever role-playing game you have, you know, you got to get off the beaten path. You got to talk to a farmer or some random person. Get out and wander around a bit. Yep, left long, bloop. Goofy little angle, but I got him. I'm not trying to take a picture, thank you. All right. So, let's say I just picked a random lake that Greedos Ibex wasn't there. I'm going to come down here and run around, right? And have a look. There we go. Here's another zone of Ibex that I was scared off running over this way. And like I said, now that I know where they're at, even though I'm like spooking everything, chasing everything, firing my weapon, and it doesn't really matter as long as I get the zones. And if they leave the zones, then I can still find them, or I can come here 4 hours after they're gone. That's one of my stands I paid for it. 16 grand. You see what I'm saying? That's stupid. Expensive. So what do I do during the time period the roe deer are drinking, or the ibex are drinking? So we got 2 more hours. I would try to work this coastline as best as I could. Now you can just bomb it. I call it Ramboing. Just run it, scare them. Who cares, right? You want the zone. And when you come back, now see how I got a little call that says they're fleeing? Now it could be the ibex that I scared off, but it's not. I can already see the fluffies. Another great way to find zones: follow up on warning calls and animals that you scare. Just go run to where you scared them. He's kind of small, I can tell. There's one. Anyway, the point is this. Now I can come back and I'll be able to know where they're at, how to approach them, how to set up, and we can get some this way too. That's a big one. That is a big un. That is a big Greedos Ibex. Wow. I'm not sure what their little top number is, but that is no joke. I can tell by the horns from here. I've got several diamonds. That one's not a diamond, I don't think. Oh, you know what? I think the outline of him tricked me. That's definitely not a diamond. Yeah. So you can get him like I just got that one. I just put the binoculars on him, spotted him, and bang, across the way where we can see his little outline. Another Greedos Ibex. Greedos, I don't know. I'm not from Spain, y'all. I don't know if you noticed. I might be from southern Spain. Always check your fluffies. Remember, there are multiple zones. There could be leftover zones. You know, if whitetail drink right before red deer, and you go into your red deer zone, click on some fluffies that aren't blue because they might be whitetail zones. Right there. Boom. You fool! Oh. Did it pick me up across the way? I don't think so. Might be able to get in the stand and shoot this 4. Anyway, yeah, check your fluffies, check your tracks. Just make sure that you aren't missing something. 10. Man, this is a split zone. So sometimes you'll walk into a zone, and the first time it said 8, right? And on this side it says 10. That's called a split zone. So that means there's going to be 18 ibex in this zone, spread all throughout here. It's fantastic. What great goat hunting. Probably better than Tijuana, honestly. Especially since you get all the different species here. I mean, well, I mean, I don't know what they are. There's a lot of different goats in Spain. You know what I'm saying? Why did I do a New York accent? Guess I'm prejudiced. What a piece of crap pizza. I'm pizza. Yeah, I can do what I want. That looks... tracks right there. So they're part of that split zone. Oh no, it's a... wow, there's like 3 zones. My God, that means there's so many ibex on this little point right here. Alright, let me get in my little thingy here. The pod try. Shut it, I'm busy. Now I'm invisible. Suckers. Oh, they're coming in. Look. Bro, what's that? My bow. Or an air rifle. Oh, an air rifle. I would destroy these goats with an air rifle. Oh, pizza needs to come back, y'all. Got any monsters hiding in this little group? Oh, yeah, I know. You're all up in my scent. Get out of here. Go on, beat it. Alright, what's over here? Nothing. I can tell by their horns. This one's kind of a cool color. It's kind of blocked. It's definitely lighter than the other 3, and the others that I've seen today. So some kind of variant. Can you sit down? You're making me nuts. I hear him goofing around me. They're coming back in. Yeah, he's right here. What's up, bro? Ma'am? Bro, ma'am? Ma'am, bro? Well, I kind of want to see if a big fatty's up in this little corridor. It looks... see, there's one of the lighter colored ones. I like that. Oh, that's a 4. What? Oh, we're popping this dude right now if I can get him. Nope, wrong gun, wrong gun. He's a little 4. Ooh, that's a better 4. Oh yeah, this guy's way better. They're gonna bolt anyway. Alright, he's done. They're gonna run. There's that other gray one. Come here. 3. Alright, I'm pretty sure he's dead already. Yeah. I didn't even range for their yardage. I shot him at 164. I'm not exactly sure where that bullet landed, but he's dead. Hello? Well, I might not scope this one. Yeah, I'm not... The reticle on this is... Who made that shot? A no scope from this far. I be Call of the Wild God. Nah, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to knock all those, you know, big names out. Let's go find my goat. So that's all crap terrain. Now, I'll give you another rule of thumb. Try not to hunt when you're zone hunting. Yeah, it's all ibex. Wow, this is so many ibex. I'm kind of overwhelmed just by how many must be on here. I would love to have a stand set up over there and looking at this at the right time. It would be freaking amazing. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Come here. You coming? There you go. There you go. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm way off the blood too. Man, pizza. Help you, Doog. There we go. He's right over here. Yeah, at that range, even ranged incorrectly, this... Yeah, pretty good, though. I like this color. What is this color? Light gray. Well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But look at the horns. Look at the detail on that. We'll go to the true score. I mean, I think that looks just so fantastic, doesn't it? Makes me want to go look at some of my old trophies. Alright, so back to the grind. Goats are dumb. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but there's a good chance they're already trying to push back in. It's a great way to make a lot of cash. And like I said, get that air rifle out, get those pistols out, crossbow. See, they're already back. They're already back. If I just sat here in this stand, I remember there are, I think there's a couple of regular stands on this lake. Yes, right here. If there's goats around here, which I'm betting there are. Other side of the rock. Other side of the rock. Alright, you could pay, you know, $1,700 if it's a crap shack, $2,100 if it's elevated. Now say 16 grand, and you realize, see how they're just filing back in. I'll probably try to smack another male if I can get one. These are the ladies, though. We don't care about the ladies. Oh, there's one right beside me. Nope, there's definitely one right in here. To my left. Might be coming around this bush. We're so close. There. There's a female. Quit scratching, dummy. I'm busy. Dang. I don't scratch when you're doing stuff. I'm hoping. Oh. Yeah, there's one in this bush. Oh my God. Come on. There's one in this bush. Oh, it definitely caught me. And it's a male. And it's running. You son of a gun. Tease me like that. What do you do? What are you doing? Look at this reticle. This is garbage. Yeah, I don't like the iron sight on this. You gotta be close. I don't like it. It's not my tea of cups. I feel like there's one sitting on one of these fluffies in here. I see the one over here. Not interested. This is my point. Look how close I am. This is one of the best maps to get your shotgun, pistol, and bow score just up there. And get used to crappy iron sights if you want. Did she just hop? Did y'all see that? This little bugger just hopped. I swear to God. I'm gonna shoot her. Yeah, there's one beside me. Run! Run, Greedos, run! I told you there was one beside me. There's another one. Dang it. Get out of here. Are you male? No. Sorry. Had to clear my throat. There's the boy. Where you at, though? Come over this hill. Oh, she gone. Alright, I got... Alright. I just wanted an iron sight shot, that's all. I thought it'd be fun. Nah, this wasn't happening today. Oh, I tried. I tried. What's over there? Hey guys, you're back. Tempting. Wrecked him. No way. No. Okay, he's going down. All right. I gotta remember these 22-250 bullets at range aren't gonna put him in the dirt. Hey, pizza. Yeah. What's your favorite gun to hunt goats? Well, it'd be the 44 or 45 caliber air rifle or 7.62 Solican. Without a doubt, goat killers extraordinaire. 22-250 though is my favorite 2-4 right now. It's not fast kill, but let's face it, it kills deer dead. Right. You see that low bleed rate, but I mean, Pete could be a better hunter. I could switch up bullets for my close range shots. I could try to drop in soft points. But I tell you what, you go through and you figure out your favorites and my favorites. I mentioned them. I'm not going to do it right now. And you see how many. I'm not saying they don't have shit. I'm not saying they don't have soft point videos. It's like one though. It's a one-off kicks for giggles. You know what I mean? Hey, buddy. Yay. Gold medal, ladies and gentlemen. Left lung split dunk. Yeah, 22-250 gets in there. That's all that really matters. At 178 yards, one lung, nicely in there through all that meat. I mean, that's all shoulder right there. I mean, I'm not very good at turning things. That's a lot of meat and deep penetration into the lung. He didn't really run that far, I don't think. Quick kill was 0%, so he ran far enough, huh? Yay! Alright, now I gotta get over this rock. I think that's my best landing point. Let's go for it. I mean, these guns look so pretty when you take off the scope. But the iron sights are just, you know, it's that 50-50 roll. Well, anyway, folks, if you're out there, it is a Tuesday at 3:47 in Virginia time, Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what you're up to. I hope you're having a good day. Feel free to drop in and say hello to Pizza. And something new to me, which I appreciate with my whole 50 subscribers. Y'all look out. I'm catching up. I thought the dog growled for a minute, but I think he just made a noise. Ooh, that was a nice one. Yep, pushing these poor goats all over the place, but there's a rest zone. So that's what I'm talking about. Anytime you can get across the map, walk, run, you know, do it. And that means there's more red deer on my map. And what am I here to hunt for on Quattro? Red deer pretty much is the biggest species I want here. And, well, I guess wolves. But yeah, every time I come across any zone out in the wild, just cruising to get to a new area to hunt, to shoot, to do what I need to do. And remember, as a beginner, you're not going to have all these tents and necessarily outposts. It really is just going to be your only way to go. And changing the time is going to be, you know, stupid. It's crazy expensive. Alright, I'm going to run over to this bridge line here and see if I can get a little peek down onto the water. Well, actually, let's see if we got anybody resting or doing anything out here. Small tracks. Alright, let's get low. I'm going to work my way to this tree. Let my reticles on. God dang it. Y'all, I bought this bunch of bananas. Right? 2 days later they were rotten. And now I got fruit flies. Sons of biscuits. And I kill one and I swear to God, they just keep coming back. Anyhow, we've got about 30 minutes left on the drink zone. The good news is, remember, it doesn't really matter whether, first of all, they could hang out a little bit longer. Roe deer are they're pretty timely. So when their zone's over, they're going to bolt. But there are a lot of species that don't. Bears, moose, they're big old lazy animals. They're like, you know, I'll hang out here for an hour or two, even after my drink zone's over. The smaller animals tend to get when the old getting is good. Nothing in there. I can check the shoreline real quick. I don't think I'm going to find anything over here. Just you start to get a feeling after a while. It's not always right, but it sometimes is. Oh, there's one right here. Check it out. What do we got? Ibex? Yes, sir. More Greedos. They could have had the 10 o'clock drink time, and maybe they've already left. More than likely I spooked them, and whatever. Nothing there, nothing there. That's out of range. That's about the tip. That's fine by me. Yeah. So what did I do? I figured out Greedos, where they were. I found out when they drink. I came to a lake that was nearby. Had one Greedos drink zone on it, and managed to add quite a few Greedos Ibex drink zones. Amazing. Every one of these drink zones that I've found is a slightly different group of Ibex. And their feed, their rest zones are popping up all over the map, which means I can find them, and I somehow add even more. I don't really... I didn't make the system, y'all. I'm just trying to explain it. Beautiful map. Look at it. I love this cloudy days here. It really, to me, here in Rancho, cloudy is great. But this might be my favorite place to watch these weird little cloudy, stormy, gray days roll in. It just looks so good. What else do we need to talk about zones? They're great. You know, basically what you need to figure out is where these things are, when they're doing their thing, and where to look around. So again, Ibex drink, Ibex drink, Ibex drink, Ibex drink. Do you know how many Ibex feed and rest zones are around here? Quite a few. And somehow it's going to keep adding more. So even if I just work this big lake, it just filled it up with all the Ibex zones. If there's a couple Ibex over here, well, maybe there's a bunch of Ibex now. And don't forget, if you focus on one particular animal, especially at the beginning of your run or the map, you're going to have most of that animal be your dominant species on your map. So if you're doing a grind and you're doing a red deer grind, then go after red deer. If you're doing a fallow deer, go after fallow deer. Get those bear zones, get those moose zones first. Okay? Alright, I think we can do another video on this at another time, but I feel like I covered enough for today. There's a few more hints, tips, and tricks Pizza can let you know about zone hunting. That's what I call it, but I figured it might confuse people because it might think that hunting is zone at a particular time and, you know, things. Rascal told me not to do that, so. But I feel like we got a good coverage of everything that I wanted to go over, so. Hey, you guys. Hey, I just want to let you know, thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. You guys are always welcome to say hello, comment, and during the video say chat, or, you know, afterwards say comment. Go for it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So if you happen to catch this, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you see this at a later date or time, thanks for watching. And I really hope you guys are having a great day. Y'all be good to each other.